Now to our exclusive interview with former Vice President Joe Biden, locked in a tight race with Senator Bernie Sanders and others ahead of Monday's Iowa caucuses. Mr. Vice President, thank you for joining us this morning. You just heard the president there. Impeachment
Glad to be here, George.
He said impeachment light, they're going to crush you in November.
Well, I'm glad he's acknowledged it's going to be me. He's so worried about me, he got himself in this mix to begin with. Look, I find this defense absolutely astounding. Yeah, he did it, but it doesn't matter. I mean, George Washington's rolling over in his grave with his farewell address saying, you know, the greatest threat to republics is being interfered with by foreign countries.
But
anyway,
Mr. Vice President, as you know,
Dershowitz didn't do the same constitutional law I did.
Well, let's talk about the Constitution a little bit, because your former colleague Lamar Alexander criticized last night when he made his announcement a wholly partisan impeachment, and that echoed your position during the Clinton impeachment. I want to show our viewers.
It would have been wrong for Richard Nixon to have been removed from office based upon a purely partisan vote. No president should be removed from office merely because one party enjoys a commanding lead in either house of Congress.
If a partisan impeachment was wrong in 1974, wrong in 1998, why isn't it wrong now?
Because it's not a partisan impeachment. He violated the Constitution. Period.
Only Democrats voted for it in the House and one independent.
Well, that doesn't mean that the facts, the underlying facts, George, whether the Constitution's been violated. That's the issue. That's the issue. Was the Constitution violated?
Even if it's a party line vote?
Period. Even if it's party line vote, it just it reflects on those who know, in fact, in their heart and their head, that in fact it's a violation of the Constitution to do what he did, and in fact vote no. That's party line vote, but that doesn't make it right. And a party line vote that is based upon something that doesn't relate to a constitutional violation is a different thing.
Let's talk about Iowa looking ahead to Monday. You drew a pretty sharp contrast with Bernie Sanders yesterday, saying, I'm a Democrat, and he says he's not. But here's the pledge Bernie signed when he announced his candidacy. It says, we're showing our viewers right here, he signed it. It says, I'm a member of the Democratic Party. I will run as a Democrat. So why are you questioning whether he's a Democrat?
The context of the question was different. They were asking me about a bunch of things about what Bernie was saying, and so the context was different. Look, Bernie is a Democrat. Bernie he calls himself a democratic socialist. We have a different view on a whole lot of things. He's a decent guy. I don't think he should be running. That wasn't the question. The question is whether or not who's best prepared on day one to try to reunite this party and the country, as well as stand on the world stage and reassert our role in the world. That was the issue. That was the context of what we're talking about.
You've been saying the party has to unify to defeat Trump. So does that mean that if Bernie Sanders does win the nomination, you'll endorse him and campaign for him?
Yes, I'm going to. Whomever wins the nomination, I'm going to endorse.
Let's talk about some of the differences you have with him. One of the biggest ones, he's been talking a lot about your record on Social Security. Says he's got the most consistent record of supporting Social Security. You're for expanding benefits now, but you have been open to reforms like raising the retirement age in the past. Was that a mistake?
No, it wasn't a mistake. Look, put this in context. PolitiFact, as well as Paul Krugman, pointed out that they misrepresented my record on Social Security. I have a 100% rating with the older Americans. And here's the deal. I have proposed all along. Go look at the debate I had with Paul when we were debating vice presidency with Paul Ryan. And that's what was taken out of context. And look what I said the whole time. I am not for changing the retirement age. I'm not for that. The question was, in the context of an overall discussion, would that be a part of a discussion? I said yes, but then I went on to point out to Paul that I totally disagreed with their attempt to cut Social Security and/or Medicare. And I've moved to increase the payments that are available to older Americans under Social Security by changing the tax structure.
Pete Buttigieg also drawing some contrast as we head into this final weekend right now. He says you can't go back to the old.
If I were he, I would too.
Well, he's basically saying, you know, you're part of the past, he's part of the future, and that's where Democrats have to go. Your response?
Well, let me tell you, the reason I'm running is because of my experience, George. With experience comes a little bit of judgment and wisdom. And I have a record of pulling things together. I have a more robust record than anybody. We're going to have to deal with North Korea. We're going to have to deal with what's going on around the world. We're going to have to reassert our alliances. The next president, day one, is going to have to stand on that world stage, George, and not have any time for on-the-job training. I'm running because of the fact I have this experience, not in spite of the fact I have this experience.
Going to win on Monday?
I think it's going to be really close, George. It's neck and neck. Bernie's up, I'm up. There's actually there's basically a statistical tie. And you know, George, this situation better than anybody. If there's a big snowstorm in certain parts of the country, in certain part of the states, it could have an effect. So the caucus is you have to be able to come to a gymnasium, stay there for 2-3 hours, and it takes a lot of commitment. And we'll see who shows up. But I feel good, George. I'm a tactile politician. Everywhere I go, the response has been great. I'm feeling good about it, and I'm feeling good about my chances in other states as well.
We will all be watching Monday night. Mr. Vice President, thanks for your time this morning.
Yeah, I will be too. Thanks an awful lot.
Take
George.
care. Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.